Masterclass cook-along program. This is our new time, 8:30 in the morning. So hopefully you've had a good night's kip and you're just having a cup of coffee, deciding what to do for the weekend, because we're now moving gently out of lockdown, starting to get back to normal again. And do you know what? This might be the first weekend you can invite your friends around for dinner or your family. So I thought I'd create an amazing recipe that you can cook this weekend for your friends and family. That's the oven ready, it's hot, so we should get cooking. Right, it's going to be a lamb shank dish. Now, lamb shank got really popular in the 90s, and it got really trendy, and then it kind of fell out of favour again. I think it's a beautiful cut of meat. It needs a lot of slow cooking, a lot of love. If you give it time and some beautiful flavours, it will repay you with the most amazing dish. So what we're going to do is we're going to cook it with some harissa paste. Now this is the one I've got today. It's a rose-based harissa paste. It is just packed full of flavour, a little bit spicy. So you want to go easy on it, but not like mega hot, so it's okay. And then I've got some preserved lemons, which I've told you about how to make those before. Got some sweet potatoes, which I'm adding in just to make it a full meal, all right? Tomatoes, onions, stock, garlic. It'll be delicious. And to serve with it, we're going to make some lovely flatbreads, nice and easy, and some proper Satsiki. I am sick and tired of supermarkets selling watery Satsiki. I'm going to show you how to make it, because once you've made it, you will not buy it again. And then I've got a lovely sweet and sour red onion and pomegranate dish to go with it. So let's get this lamb on first, because it takes a long time to cook. Right, parchment paper. That means I walk across my chopping board and you guys can see what's going on, because that's really important. Right, so let's take some of these lamb shanks. Now the recipe on the website will say 4 lamb shanks for 4 people. Now, I've got more people coming, so I need to do 6, okay? So let me get a knife, and what I'm going to do is, just to get more flavour in, is just score the lamb until I hit the bone, all right? It'll speed the cooking process up, because it'll allow the heat to get to the bone quicker, all right? See that all right, Emily? Yeah. What do you think of this dish today then, Emily? Give this one a go?
Yeah, it sounds delicious.
It will. The kitchen is going to smell absolutely amazing once this gets going. It is, harissa is such a beautiful sort of flavour. It just, that sort of North African, Middle Eastern style flavour will just, oh, it'll be amazing. Really, really will. The good thing about this dish as well is you can cook extra. I would recommend cooking extra, and save it for a rainy day. So you could spread it onto flatbreads or into pita breads or something like that if you need a quick dinner. So there's loads, and you could, you know, you could almost make like a Moroccan style of a biryani, you know, where you just couscous or rice and then add in the shredded lamb at the end with some apricots. Oh, it'd be amazing. Really good. So about half a teaspoon per shank should be enough, all right? Unless you like it particularly spicy. And then, oh, can you see this all right, Emily? So I'm just going to push it into the cuts, yeah? And that means that the flavour will penetrate in really, really quickly. And once you've got one done, I'll pop this tray. I'm going to show you this roaster that we're going to use. It's part of the Smart Ceramic range. You can get them in 5-piece set, or is it 8 or 9? 7-piece set as well. And the great thing is it's got a lid, so it traps all the moisture in. It's really good. So once you've got all the flavour in there, really rub it in. Spend a bit of time, you know, if you've got the time, spend the time getting the flavour all working on this. Good for a slow cooker, this as well. If you've got one of those old school fashioned sort of slow cookers that you can just put on all day, perfect for this. You could also do this with a shoulder of lamb. I've probably stolen one of Emily's questions there. You don't have to do it, if you can't get lamb shank, do it with a bit of shoulder of lamb, work really well, or neck of lamb would work well as well.
If you do want to use lambs, could you use anything else?
Yeah, chicken thighs would work really well. Chicken, you could do like a whole roast chicken like this actually, and then it's got the time to cook. I'm just going to wash my hands because they are orange. I've got my lamb there. I'm going to get that in the oven in a minute. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt So I've got some sea salt. You could use any, it doesn't matter. A little bit of pepper in there as well. Lovely. Right. Okay, so I've got some sweet potatoes. Now, I've got an orange one here, which is the normal one that we all see every day, isn't it? Yeah, nothing new there.
Would you get the same flavour from non-potatoes?
No, you don't get the same flavour, but you could use them if you wanted to. You can't get them, yeah, for sure. Sweet potatoes work really, really well. You could also use butternut squash. That works really well. And you could use normal potatoes. You get a sort of sweetness works really well with a lamb. Whereas with savoury potatoes, it just kind of, it doesn't really add anything to it, but it's okay, it's good. But check this out. Are you cutting into this one?
I am.
What colour do you think this is going to be?
Purple?
Go for it, watch. Look at that. We've found a purple sweet potato in the shop today. So I couldn't resist.
Really vibrant.
It is, really, really vibrant. Tastes the same, just a different breed, really. So first proper weekend that we're kind of out of lockdown, and I don't know about you guys, but it is howling gale out there this weekend, so we'll have to see what happens, but this is going to warm up the kitchen beautifully. It's going to be really, really nice. Now, if you've got any questions about what we're making today, please post them in Facebook feed, and I will try my best to answer them. If I can't answer them, the team at Masterclass will answer them for you. A lot of all the equipment that I use is available from cookserveandenjoy.com. So that's the first question I get asked every week is, where can I get this piece of kit? So cookserveandenjoy.com, great website, it's got it all there, really easy in one place. So, cut the sweet potatoes into quite big pieces because they need to cook at the same time as the lamb, really nice and slow, and they will go quite soft these. So,
That is a purple potato.
it's very cool, isn't it? I would make, I mean, my kids would have a fit if I turned up with roast potatoes like that.
Soup.
Sweet potato soup would be awesome, yeah. Right, okay, so I've got a few tomatoes. So this is the kind of thing, like, if you haven't got fresh tomatoes, chuck in a tin of tomatoes. That will do exactly the same job, and it'll give you some moisture and give you something to sort of cook in, because we're going to add some stock. So add in some onions, and we're just building the layers of flavour here. Really simple dish, just a knock. This is a knock it together kind of dish, but then at the end you get this quite sort of sophisticated dish. It's a really, really good, easy one. Okay, so I've got some preserved lemon here. Now, I talked to everyone about this a few weeks ago, is if you're using fresh lemons in your cooking, and we use them all the time, your lemon drizzle cake, whatever that might be, don't throw out your lemons. Squeeze them out, use the juice or use the zest, and then pack them in a jar with salt. Leave them for 6 weeks, and you end up with this amazing, authentic flavour. And it's like a savoury lemon, and it just works so well with the lamb, or if you were doing a vegetarian tagine, this gives you authentic flavour. And if you, can you cut into this, Emily? It's very dull yellow, isn't it? It's not like appetising, but if you look, it just breaks up. The salt has just penetrated into the lemon, broken it all down so that it will just melt into the sauce, and it will be delicious. Okay, so I'm also going to take a bulb of garlic. Now, I love garlic in my cooking. I add it all the time. I'm just going to take the top off, like the top ½ centimetre, because if I broke all this up, it would probably burn, and I would lose all my flavour because it would go bitter. Whereas if you cook it like that and just put it straight in, put it face down, we can squeeze that out later, and you will get that lovely, sweet, rich garlic flavour at the end, okay? So, I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the top, just to get things started. And then I have a pint of chicken stock. In it goes. Yeah, you can use vegetable stock, you could use beef stock, you could use, I wouldn't use lamb stock, it's a bit too strong. The great thing about this is, lid on. for the first hour. And that will really trap all the moisture, all the flavour in. It'll almost be like a little mini pressure cooker. And it just keeps everything inside. And then for the last hour, we'll lift the lid off and let things boil and reduce and become nice and rich. It's delicious. Lamb's in the oven, which means we've got time to make loads of really delicious things to go with it. Now, I've got some self-raising flour here with baking powder in it. I've got a little bit of dried onion powder, because it's a bit of an old-fashioned ingredient, but actually it works really well in things like breads and pastries because it gives a nice savoury flavour. I'm going to add some black sesame seeds and white sesame seeds in, just for a bit of colour, so it'll look nice. And then I'm going to add in a splash of olive oil, because that'll help the flatbread to be soft. When you add oil to bread, it softens the dough. And then I'm going to add some milk. Now, you could add a plant-based milk if you wanted to, if that was important to you, or you could just add water. It's entirely up to you. Right, so I'm just going to mix that together. Now, I held back some of the milk just in case, because you never know how much you're going to need. Sometimes it differs. And then all we're going to do is stir that together. Look, there we go. It's that quick. It's like 30-second mix. Okay, we're going to give it a quick knead, not for long. It's just a flatbread. We don't need a really strong dough. And it's not bread flour that we've used, so we're never going to develop lots of gluten. So just push it. Can you see that all right, Emily? Nothing in. I haven't stuck anything in the way, have I? No, I'm good. And the more you mix this, the smoother the dough becomes. It starts a bit like porridge, and then as you work it and knead it, it just sort of starts to smooth out a little bit. Okay. There we go. So I've not added any flour to this. All I've done is just mix it and knead it. We'll use a little bit of flour in a minute just to roll it out, but that's it. Okay, got my rolling pin, got a little bit of flour. Let's get our pan on. So you want it on like 2/3 full heat. And then take your flatbread and then just press it down and turn it over. We don't need to start with the rolling pin just yet. All right? Try and get it to the shape you want it. Always start with the shape you want to finish with. Then roll it and turn. And really, we're just trying to make bits of breads, really. Just something nice and simple to mop up juices and flavour. And then into the pan while we do the next one.
Is there anything else that you could add to the dough, like you've added the sesame seeds?
Yeah, you can kind of add a bit of cumin, you could add nigella seeds, you could add a bit of that harissa if you wanted to. Yeah, sort of whatever takes your fancy really, some fresh herbs. You know, if you've got some coriander, add the stalk into the dough and add the coriander leaf to your lamb. That would work really nicely. Once you've sort of got a base good flatbread recipe, you can kind of travel the world with it. You know, if you do Mexican, you could do Mexican. If you do an Italian, you could do Italian. You know, you could do Spanish. You could do whatever you fancy. Indian, you name it. But we are in North Africa today, in Cumbria, in the Lake District. I'm afraid the lambs are watching us. Right, so I've got them all rolled out there. Let's just grab a nylon spatula and we'll just have a little look. But can you see that, Emily? Do you see that is kind of what should be happening? You should be able to move the dough and give it a little stir. Flip it over and you can see it's just starting to go golden there. They should take about 3 or 4 minutes each, okay? So we'll just lay those there ready to cook. So just pop your nylon spatula straight underneath and turn them. Now, just remember, we're not using any oil in this pan. We're using it to toast the bread and cook it. We're not frying dough, we're toasting bread. So as you can see with these ones that we've done, we've got a nice dry, toasted marks on them, and the bread is just lovely and soft. And They smell amazing. These are going to be perfect for the dips and for the lamb. So let's whip that one out. There we go. I'm going to pop these over here. I'm just going to give this pan a quick wipe because it's just got a bit of dry flour in there. I'm going to use this for the pomegranate and red onion. Now, this is a dish I kind of came up with when I did a corporate cookery school. So we had a company all over the UK and we cooked dinner together through Google Meets. It was really good fun and I created this dish for them. And I thought it would go really well with the Satsiki that I'm going to show you next and the lamb. It's a perfect antidote to it because it's kind of sweet and sour and tangy and a little raw, and that goes with the creamy Satsiki. So, red onion. We're going to slice it nice and thin. So take your time, because we're only going to cook it really for like 30 seconds. I just want to take the rawness away from it. So red onion sliced, nice and thin. Good sharp knife. I always use a cook's knife for this. And then roll it through. Okay? I wonder how many onions you've filmed me chopping over the years now. And you still get a bit twitchy, don't you, when I don't look at what I'm doing. Right, onions. Now, I've got red wine vinegar, okay, into a hot pan. And then we've got some sugar. Not too much, maybe 2 tablespoons. That's it. And what that's done is it's taken the harshness away. And then we take our red onions and we pop them in. Give them a little shake. Clears the nasal passages, that vinegar. Right, pomegranate. I'm going to use half for this and then I'm going to use half on the lamb, okay? So, open your pomegranate open. And then basically, the best way to get all the seeds out, in my opinion, is to just squeeze the top. So, and then squeeze the sides, all right? And then just use the back of your knife and just give it a tap. Or if you've got a child that you need to keep busy, give them a cocktail stick and just tell them to get every one of them out. But I haven't got one at the moment, so we'll have to do it this way. But you can see, we've got most of them out, and then just open it out and just sort of flick them out. They're so delicious. Pomegranate's just, oh, love it. Love it. Perfect with this recipe as well. The fruitiness is great. Okay, so let's pop that to one side. I'll give that a little white. Now I've got a little bit of red wine vinegar because I'm going to need that for the next one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring this up to the boil and switch the heat off and leave it. Okay? There we go. See that, Millie? Right. That'll do. We'll take that, switch the heat off and leave it to one side. It's kind of pickled now, so it's kind of tangy and a little bit crispy and crunchy and fruity. It's that whole sweet and sour Middle Eastern thing. Right, now, Satsiki. Very passionate about my Satsiki. I like it to be good. Alright, and there are a few tips and tricks I've picked up over the years. Right, first of all, cucumber. Right?
Just watch the yogurt, please.
Yeah. Right, there we go. Are you happy?
I am.
Get right. Yeah. Okay, in half. Now, seeds, full of water. Water means diluted flavour to me, and I don't want that. I want full flavour, I want it delicious. Okay, so, take a teaspoon and just push the seeds out. Because it's the same shape as the chamber as the seeds grow, yeah? Did you know that, Emily? There you go. Full of water.
Let's just put the every day.
Every day is a school day. So, push them out, you see? All that water there is just going to dilute the yogurt. Alright? And it's not, you know, we've got lovely Greek yogurt that's thick and rich and tangy. The last thing you want to do is dilute it with all that cucumber water. Okay? So, cucumbers in half. And then we're going to cut them into matchsticks like that. Now you can put as much or as little cucumber in as you like. Hey? What was that? Can I put more cucumber in?
I was going to say, is there like a certain amount that you need to add on?
Well, there is. I mean, the recipe's up there and it's posted for you on masterclass.co. But look, if you haven't quite got enough or you've got a bit too much, I wouldn't worry about it. I really wouldn't. It's about tasting it and making it amazing. This is every garlic clove is a slightly different size. You know, mint has different strengths. Cucumbers are different size. So don't worry about it. So cucumber into my mixing bowl. I think this is something I probably do every weekend, is make Satsiki. My wife no longer eats supermarket Satsiki because it's just not as nice. And once you've had it, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, I just want that. Warm pita bread out of the toaster, bit of Satsiki, maybe a gin and tonic, or just teasing myself, a cold beer, Kio beer. A nice cold Cypriot beer with a bit of Satsiki and pita bread. Now you're talking. Oh, I'm off, that's it. I'm away. Right. Cucumber, diced, no water. All we've got is that sort of nice crisp crunch. Okay? Now, dried mint, not fresh. Okay? Never use fresh mint for Satsiki.
Why is that?
It's just mint when it's dry has got a real different characteristic. It's more punchy than when it's fresh. And to cut through the richness of the yogurt, it needs to be the dried one. Alright? So, can you see? I mean, it's just all like that, yeah? Yeah. Yogurt. Straight in. One big pot, and the Satsiki can go back in the pot for the weekend.
Can you use it, is there a certain type of yogurt you should be using? Or?
You can use full fat. I've actually got 0%. So if you're looking for a more healthy dip, this is it. Buy 0% Greek yogurt. It's full of flavour and it's really low on the calories. But then if you're not bothered, buy the full fat one. It's delicious. So mix all that together. I've not added any fat to this yet. All I'm going to add is a touch of olive oil to this, which is up to you. Okay, so 1 garlic clove. Okay, now be sparing with your garlic because it's raw and it's going in raw and it will get stronger and stronger. So if you make it today, tomorrow it's going to be stronger. Believe me, I've made this mistake before. Okay, so 1 small garlic clove. You can always add more garlic if you want to tomorrow, but today it'll be absolutely bang on. A little bit of fresh garlic, okay? Don't use that lazy garlic. Don't use garlic powder, and don't use garlic puree. Buy a bulb of garlic and chop it, all right? Because it just makes all the difference. It's all the little things that make the difference. So there's our garlic in. A little splash, maybe a teaspoon of red wine vinegar, extra virgin olive oil for richness. There we go. Little sprinkle of salt in there and a little sprinkle of pepper. Okay? That is the perfect Satsiki. Alright, you cannot go wrong with it. Fit for any barbecue, beautiful with kebabs, curries, flatbreads, pita breads, nice with pizza crusts. Nice with everything. No? Okay, so I've got a nice plate here, so we're going to pop it onto here. So I'm going to use half of it, and then the other half I'm going to put back in the tub for tomorrow, because I know Mrs. Sidwell will be looking for it. There we go. Okay, so put that to one side. Now, back of the spoon, push it out. Okay, because we're going to put our sweet and sour onions on there. Yeah?
Smells really good.
Oh, maybe a little bit more. There we go. That's it. So, push the Satsiki out. And then what we're going to do is take our pomegranate and red onion, just drain off the vinegar, okay? And just sit it in the middle. Because then people can kind of tuck into the bit they want. And I would strongly recommend what you get is like, you go through this with your flatbread. So you get a bit of Satsiki, you get a bit of the pickle, you get a bit of the pomegranate, you get the full package, all in one go. There we go, right. Drain that vinegar off, you don't want it all. Now you can keep this pomegranate and red onion salsa for a couple of days in the fridge, or you could throw it in with the lamb when it comes out. That'd be nice. Okay, so I'm going to finish this with a drizzle of olive oil because I don't care. There we go. Lovely. So that is perfect. Flatbreads with Satsiki and sweet and sour red onions with pomegranate. All we are waiting for now is our lamb. Here we go. My kitchen smells absolutely amazing. But there you go. That is our beautiful slow-cooked Harissa lamb. It does not smell good in this kitchen, I tell you. But all the juices have sort of cooked together now. And if I just lift out these chunks of sweet potato, they're just cooked, which is what you want. And do you remember the garlic that we put in whole? That will squeeze out. I've just let it cool for 5 minutes to one side, and then just like a tube of toothpaste, just squeeze it in, mix it all up, and you will have the most beautiful, tender, aromatic lamb that will go amazing with these flatbreads and my Satsiki with sweet and sour red onions and pomegranate. Now, if you want the recipes for all this and all the other shows that we do, go to masterclass.co and you will find them there. We're all there for you. And if you want to get a hold of some of the kit that I use, go to cookserveandenjoy.com. It's all there and really easy to get to. Now, if you've got any questions about what we've done today, please post them in the comments below. I will answer them as best I can. But have an incredible weekend. I hope you have a really good one. Cook some amazing food, and I'll see you next week.